Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today it is finally time for us to review New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. This review was originally written by the wonderful Gavin Lane and has been adapted for video by me. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things. Ever since its debut on the DS back in the space year of 2006, the new branch of the Super Mario Bros. Series has, well, shall we say, it's divided fans. As Nintendo took the 3D character models of video games' most treasured mascots back into the 2D realm, purists were furious at the quote-unquote Disneyfication of the Mushroom Kingdom and bemoaned its idiosyncratic soundtrack, whatever that means. The style, however, proved massively popular, and a further 3 entries gave a whole new generation their own 2D Mario that wasn't made of sprites. We're delighted to see the series' pinnacle spruced up for another outing, although we're not sure New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe does quite enough to earn its increasingly ungainly title. We'd like to, for just a moment, play the contrarian card, if you'll allow us, and indulge the readers for whom the new series represents the lowest point in the Mario thing. This is that style firing on every single cylinder and then more besides. Every bar of the soundtrack is capped with a wah sound and not the one you want, and Mario is joined only by his most insufferable of allies. Furthermore, its miscellany of worlds don't hang together like the classics do in Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World, and perhaps most damning of all, this laid the groundwork for the similarly divisive game Super Mario Run. If insipid bit players and audio ticks drove you up the wall a decade ago, we're exceedingly doubtful that this one's gonna be the one to win you over. Okay, now let's shake off that negativity. Yes, we do like Mario Run, don't we? Let's peer with fresh eyes past the antiseptic facade and discover the tight 2D platformer underneath, filled with novel wonders, multiplayer mayhem, and nods towards the series' cherished history. With returning fan favorite elements like the forking world map and the Koopa Kids, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe does a fantastic job of gratifying longtime fans without alienating players for whom Ludwig and Iggy are simply randoms from the Mario Kart 8 roster. We're not going to waste your time by going over the nitty-gritty all over again. We've had reviews on the site for New Super Mario Bros. U and its add-on New Super Luigi U, and they're still there, so there'll be links in the description if you want to check those out. And gamepad features notwithstanding, these appraisals generally hold true for this version as well. Anything that gives a wider audience the opportunity to enjoy that console's library is alright by us. But how does this launch title stand up 7 long years after its release? It's worth remembering that New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe Super Extreme Edition Ultra New Turbo Fighters was actually Mario's belated HD debut, and seeing him in 1080p, or roughly thereabouts, for the first time was really something special. 7 years, however, is an absolute age in video games though, and we have to say that it's looking a tad underwhelming by 2019 standards. Don't get us wrong, I mean, it's colourful and pristine, but it's also a little bit plasticky looking, especially on a big TV. Handheld mode does help to reduce the sort of artificial sheen, but if this were a fresh release, there'd be atmospheric haze, depth of field effects, a subtle weave on Mario's dungarees, and they'd stay wet for a while after a swim. Do you see where we're going with this? Despite its retina-searing presentation, it's missing the bells and whistles that you might expect after playing, oh, I don't know, Super Mario Odyssey, you know, that Mario game that came out before this deluxe version. Here, the Mushroom Kingdom often feels just like a rainbow diorama with the atmosphere sucked out and chewed up. That said, its jumble of art styles and willingness to throw any interesting idea at the wall arguably set the standard for games like Mario Odyssey, which, let's be honest, had even more art styles than you can see in this one. But for some reason, in Mario Odyssey, it just worked, probably just down to the fact that the mechanics were absolutely, just gorgeous. And you can see a glimpse of that same experimentation here, whether in the impressionist backgrounds of the painted swampland or the ingenious enemies that only turn up for a stage or maybe two. Nothing lingers long enough to become boring, and even the arguably unfairly maligned soundtrack is as catchy as anything in the Mario canon. Were it not for those obnoxious wahs capping every single bloody musical phrase, these could easily rank among some of the best tunes in the plumber's enviable songbook. So anyway, that's all well and good, but where's this deluxe stuff? Well, as we mentioned, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe includes New Super Luigi U, originally available as DLC or as a standalone disc if that tickled your pickle at the time. Offering remixed or reimagined levels using the same assets, difficulty is also further increased through Luigi's flightier jumps and reduced traction, not to mention having far fewer seconds left on that countdown timer. In many ways, it's kind of like the main game's lost levels, if you remember that thing from Super Mario All-Stars, remixing familiar elements for a more hardcore experience. Fortunately for less skilled players, however, the inclusion of Nabbit as a playable character relieves the stress of the ticking clock by adding extra time and a lot more besides. The purple rabbit is simply just immune to all enemy attacks. Is he a rabbit? Clearing a level with Nabbit turns the node color of fetching purple rather than the standard blue, so you can always go back and finish it quote-unquote properly if you'd like to in the future. But most importantly, he gives everyone a chance to enjoy the intricate level design and the interesting ideas in the add-on without having to necessarily tear every follicle out.
But Alex, we've already played that! What else is new?
Well, Nabbit is now a playable character in the base game as well, and solo players are no longer restricted to Mario, which was a really silly idea from the start. Labeled as very easy, he's a great choice for younger or more inexperienced players, especially given the absence of the boost mode that was in the original, which required the Wii U gamepad, and maybe they could have got working with the Switch touchscreen, but that sounds like it would be more trouble than it's worth. I mean, the Switch's touchscreen does work, but only for menu navigation, so yeah. Another fresh face is Toadette, replacing the original game's Blue Toad, much to the disappointment of one person I've seen in the comments. She's sort of a halfway house between Nabbit and the regular players. She's labeled as easy and shares his improved grip on ice, extra seconds in the game, and easier swimming controls, simply by pushing in the direction you want to go, as if you were wearing the penguin suit, but is otherwise as vulnerable as the others. However, she does have another trick up her sleeve. Yes, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe most infamous edition, the Super Crown. No, I'm not actually going to say it. By picking up the Super Crown, Toadette turns into Peachette and is, well, a bit of an odd one in so much as she's not really a character at all. The power-up is entirely exclusive to Toadette and essentially turns her into Peach, sort of, with the princess's characteristic floaty jump physics and all that. We have thought long and hard, and, well, not that long or that hard to be honest, and we still remain perplexed at how Nintendo managed to arrive at this arguably very inelegant solution to getting a playable princess in the game, despite Bowser having her under lock and key. I mean, it's fine, it's okay, we're not going to get too hung up on the complications or the intricacies of the Super Mario lore, because it really doesn't matter. It's just a little bit odd when you've already got people like, you know, Rosalina, Daisy. Could they not be a Peach clone? And you needn't worry about losing access to Peach yet. The game is very generous with power-ups, especially in multiplayer, which is as joyously chaotic as ever. It's perfect for the Switch, and the loss of boost mode really isn't that felt unless you played the Wii U version to death or your name happens to be Steve. You can still use your Mii in the challenges as well, and struggling players, if Nabbit really isn't enough for you, you can still use the Super Guide to watch the CPU negotiate tricky stages, taking control whenever you wish. Beyond the expected menu tweaks, a hint section, and the removal of the boost mode specific challenges, that is pretty much your lot. I mean, arguably the most deluxe thing about this is the sweet portability that comes with it being on the Switch. If you had a Wii U, do you remember that thrill the first time you picked up the Wii U gamepad and you took it into another room and continued playing the same game? Well, it's kind of like that. You probably already experienced it because it's the Switch. However, there is one issue in this game that is just as annoying as it ever has been and was present in the original, although for some reason it didn't seem quite as annoying then. I don't know why, maybe I was just more patient. Whenever you die in a level, you are thrown right back out onto the world map, and assuming you want to dive straight back in, which that's the logical thing you'd want to do, you're forced to sit through all this loading and transition stuff, and it just seems like an awful lot of time spent when you could just be diving right back in. Why can't it just go back to the checkpoint or something like Super Mario Maker? It is only a few seconds, but if you're stuck on a tricky area and you keep dying, it's gonna get really annoying really quickly. I mean, it did for us. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is an impressive package if you skip the original, offering the best of modern-era 2D Mario, madcap multiplayer, and glimpses of the outrageous invention that was to come in Super Mario Odyssey. Only the most dedicated fans will find enough new content here, though, to justify double dipping, especially if you've already played the Luigi expansion. The chance to replay a top-draw Mario game on a handheld may be enough for some. I mean, Christ, how many times have we rebought Super Mario Bros. 3? Too many. But this is the oldest of the Wii U games to have found new life on the Switch, and gameplay aside, aging visuals and the colossal irritation of being kicked back to the world map after every single ruddy death stand out as things in need of attention. The bottom line is, the Switch now has a very fine 2D Mario to its name. We just can't help but feel disappointed that Nintendo didn't push the boat out even further with a more thorough deluxe refurbishment. Having said that, this is still an excellent package that deserves a new lease of life on Switch, especially as there are going to be many Switch owners who didn't get to experience it on the Wii U.